Obviously, I think it's pretty clear that we're feeling really good about our chances in November. We had a fantastic convention, one of the biggest conventions in the history of our party. Convention with the DNC chairman coming down, Tim Kaine. I don't know if any of you caught the Wis Politics upfront interview, and the first thing he said is, hey, it's going to be a tough year for Democrats this year. It's going to be tough all over. You know, trying to reinvent Tom Barrett as a tax cutter and a person who's going to control spending through this sort of diet plan that he's talking about is sort of like, you know, going to the drive-through at KFC and ordering 3 double downs and a Diet Coke. You know, it just doesn't add up. Prisoners out to save money, finding deadbeat tax collectors that he couldn't do himself when he was mayor. I mean, I can write, you know, any person can go write 67 pages of garbage. But if your history is that you've never done any of these things in your lifetime, and suddenly now you're going to become the tax cutter and the guy who cuts spending, I think people are going to see right through it. It's a fraud. And if you want to put fraudulent documents together and say, hey, look, I got a plan of fraud, fine. You can't be a maverick and go and vote for $1 trillion on a stimulus bill and $1 trillion on Obama and Pelosi care that's going to balloon the national deficit and the national debt, like I said before, to a point of more than every president before Barack Obama. You can't preach one thing and do another. We're worried about spending and taxes and bringing jobs to the state of Wisconsin. That's smoking marijuana. So that's really clearing the field. That's getting in a room and closing the door and saying, this is what we're going to do. And that's saying, you know what, guys, I've got $1.5 million and I'm going to figure out how to get it to this candidate. That's clearing the field. That's when you don't even have another option. We didn't clear the field. When does Barack Obama start taking responsibility? When does he start? When is he fair game for criticism?
2008.
Okay, good. Well, under Barack Obama's watch, he's quadrupled the deficit. Under Barack Obama's watch, to accumulate a debt that's more than every single president combined. And so I think that it's time for the Democrats to stop talking about George Bush and start looking in the mirror and realizing that if they continue down the road of this fiscal path that they're on, then my kids and your kids and Mike's future kids aren't going to be able to survive. As far as Julie Lassa goes, here is another classic example of a person who voted last year for $6 billion in new spending. I mean, is she responsible for that vote? I say she is. The fish rots at the head. And the people in charge have to be responsible for the choices they make. And they're going to be responsible in November.